YouTube, what is going on? It's the Narrow Talk 23. I'm back with another video. Before we get into the video, YouTube, I need you to hit the like, comment, and subscribe button. Turn on that post notification bell while you at it. Today we got this woman suffocated her baby and sent photos to dad. Let's get straight into it.
Are you the patient?
My daughter, she's not breathing.
She's not breathing.
No.
She's not breathing at all.
No.
What's the address of the emergency, please? And how old is your daughter?
She's 2.
2 years old.
Yeah.
When 20-year-old Cody Ann Jackson called the emergency services in Stoke-on-Trent, UK, she sounded like she was in pure agony. What mother wouldn't be if she found her lifeless
Did
baby
she call
inside
it
their
in?
home?
You need to put you onto the floor for me, okay? I'm going to try to
I can't move. Every time I move, it hurts.
Pardon?
Every time I move, it hurts.
But that was not what was happening to Cody Ann at all. She was a cold-blooded killer. And on that morning, she had taken her daughter's life for the most callous reason. This is the full story of Cody Ann Jackson and the tragic story of
2 years old.
Macy Hogan.
Man.
Today's story begins in Stoke-on-Trent, a 250,000 people town in Staffordshire, central UK. It's a peaceful place known for its old pottery industry and beautiful canoe trails, but it's also one of the 5 most hated towns in England, as its inhabitants complain about their illicit industrial estates and constant traffic jams. In 2016, this was the home of 2-year-old Macy Hogan. She was a happy-go-lucky girl who loved people and animals alike. She always had a smile on her face and she trusted everyone around her. Macy was the daughter of Cody Ann Jackson and Paul Hogan. The pair had met at a friend's house party in 2013 when Cody Ann was still in school, with Paul being 3 years older than her. When she was just 17, she gave birth to their daughter. They were young and didn't have much money, but they were extremely happy to be parents. And Macy's extended family was also happy to help in any way that they could.
As I've seen, she was a beautiful little girl. She was very healthy, had a whole life in front of her, had a lot of support from her wider family who spent time with her.
Paul also remembers the quirkier side of his little daughter. But it's these things that makes a parent's relationship with their young child so precious. Soon, Paul's life would crumble in the most horrific way, and Macy's life would be cut extremely short. Over the years, Paul and Cody Ann's relationship became more and more strained. It's unclear whether Macy added an extra layer of pressure or their relationship was bound to end either way. But by the autumn of 2016, it had become clear to Paul that he wanted to leave his girlfriend. After a weekend-long fight, Paul packed his bags and left the house on October 1st or 2nd. Cody Ann was devastated. This was the end of her life in her eyes. On the afternoon of October 10th, the Staffordshire Emergency Services received a distressing call.
Are you the patient?
My daughter, she's not breathing.
She's not breathing.
No.
She's not breathing at all.
No.
What's the address of the emergency, please? And how old is your daughter?
She's 2.
2 years old.
Yeah.
She's not breathing at all.
No.
While the dispatcher waited for the paramedics to arrive at the scene, she instructed Cody Ann on what to do to help little Macy.
Okay, help is being arranged. You need to stand telephone with me and listen very carefully. I'm going to tell you what to do to help, okay? I need you to lie flat on her back on the floor. Can you do that for me now? You need to put you onto the floor for me, okay? I'm going to try to
I
help.
can't move. Every time I move, it hurts.
Pardon?
Every time I move, it hurts.
Right, but we need to help your daughter if she's not breathing.
The dispatcher might have thought that these were wails of a mother in agony. A mother who had woken up only to find her baby daughter dead between the 2 pillows on her bed. But Cody Ann was wailing because she had stab wounds on her chest, neck, and arms. The dispatcher did not know this, and this was not a priority, considering Macy wasn't breathing.
Right, so we need to help your daughter if she's not breathing. You need to lie flat on her back on the floor for me, please.
Cody Ann didn't seem very cooperative, but the dispatcher thought this was because she was in a state of panic. Cody Ann had just said she woke up to her worst nightmare. It did sound a little bit strange that Cody Ann woke up and realized she'd been stabbed. Who wouldn't wake up if they were attacked with a knife? But the procedure was standard in this case. The dispatcher sent police to both Cody Ann's home and Paul's office. That afternoon, Paul was arrested on suspicion of murder.
Wow.
Imagine being told your 2-year-old daughter was killed and being arrested for it at the same time. Paul had to cope with the information that Macy had just been killed, but he couldn't find out how she was killed or who had done it, as the police still thought he was guilty of it. After all, his ex-girlfriend had told the cops she'd woken up stabbed next to her daughter, dead. But the truth would come out soon enough, and it would be a very dark one.
The whole time, she the one who did it.
When the police arrived at Cody Ann's home, no one opened the door. The police officer tried to kick the door down, but it wouldn't budge. So the paramedics broke in with an oxygen cylinder. Within minutes, the officers entered Cody Ann's apartment, but when they opened the front door, they hit something. It was Macy's body. Cody Ann was sitting by her body trying to give her CPR, but this looked very suspicious to the police. Why was she doing this in the doorway? And why hadn't she opened up to the police minutes earlier? It's not like she wouldn't have heard them. There was one last gruesome clue into Cody Ann's misleading 999 call. Macy's body was cold and stiff, and she had visible hemorrhaging to her face, eyes, and eyelids. In other words, Macy had been dead for a long time, and Cody Ann was just acting like she was trying to resuscitate her. Macy was pronounced dead at the scene. The autopsy confirmed that Macy had been a healthy child throughout her whole life. It also confirmed that Macy was dead hours before Cody Ann even made the call to the emergency services. The cause of death was listed as severe brain damage and hemorrhaging. Something has interfered with her ability to breathe. She had been sedated with a pillow, blanket, or a bath gown. Slowly but surely, the detectives were uncovering the dark truth behind Macy's untimely death, and it was becoming quite clear that Paul had nothing to do with it. As they spoke to Paul and Macy's extended family, the detectives learned that Paul had recently broken up with Cody Ann, and that she was very upset about the breakup. And when the paramedics came to Cody Ann's home and noticed her wounds, they noted that they looked self-inflicted. Then there was a series of distressing clues. Inside Cody Ann's home, the police found a very worrying note Cody Ann had written to her uncle. I sit here thinking about killing my own daughter and then myself. I do not want to leave her behind, but I can't go on either. There is nothing for me or Macy. Life is, and the world is. So Cody Ann thought of calling 999 to make it look like she and Macy had been the victims of her ex, but she didn't think of hiding her suicide note. Cody Ann was so upset that Paul had left her that she wanted to take her life, but she was selfish enough to believe it was better if she took her baby daughter with her too, as if that would have been a better end than her growing up without a mom. Then there was the final piece of evidence, and perhaps the most heartbreaking of all. On Saturday, October 8th, Cody Ann sent Paul a picture of Macy with the caption, "Sorry, just thought you deserved one last picture and memory of her. Savor the last ever picture. Possibly see you in court." It might sound like an overly dramatic teenage drama movie if it hadn't happened in real life. But to think Cody Ann decided to kill Macy as punishment for her ex is truly heartbreaking. You have to be a special kind of person to take your child's life away as a way to get back at another person.
Man, that shit. If you can do some shit like that, bro, I don't know what to say. I don't know.
When he received this horrible text, Paul thought it would be best to let Cody Ann cool down and contact her again in a few days. He had no idea Cody Ann actually had a murder plan for their daughter. He thought she would just cut him off. Who could imagine a mother would kill her own child?
Nobody. Who wants to
Days
imagine?
after Macy's murder, Cody Ann Jackson was arrested. Meanwhile, Paul had been released and could now testify against her. Throughout her interrogation and most of her trial, Cody Ann remained silent, poker-faced, and unwilling to discuss her motive. Detective Dan Eisen, who led the whole case, commented, "From the moment of her arrest, from the footage I've seen, from what I've seen in interviews and in court, she's remained cold, emotionless, and showed no remorse throughout. In fact, the only time I've seen tears from Cody Ann Jackson is at the point she pleaded guilty in court." Indeed, it took 6 long trial days for Cody Ann to speak, but after several testimonies against her, Cody Ann finally burst into tears and changed her plea to guilty. She was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 16 years and 114 days. Judge Michael Chambers said her murder was an expression of utter self-absorption. "I accept that may not have come easy, but this remains a very serious case. For a mother to kill her young child who depends on her for protection above all others is a wicked and appalling act. This is not a case where you suffered from mental illness. The clear inference is that you thought about killing yourself and decided to kill Macy as well, to prevent her from having a life without a mother." Paul was in court every day of the trial, but Cody Ann refused to look at him. She acted like he wasn't even there and never apologized for her actions and for destroying his life. Paul spoke to the media several times after the incident, saying his life was turned completely upside down. "I stayed in my room for a couple months just drinking. I didn't really leave my bed." He hasn't been able to hold a job, and he constantly struggles with extreme anxiety and grief. No one really believes their partner or ex-partner is capable of murdering their child. Now, without Cody Ann's remorse or apology, Paul is left with only his regret over not taking Macy with him that day. Cody Ann might be released from prison before the age of 40, but if she doesn't show remorse for her horrific crime, she might spend the rest of her life behind bars.
Yeah, obviously my response from today's sentencing hearing, it is one that I am pleased. I'm pleased that the conviction's been made and that the sentence has been passed. However, it won't detract from, I don't think the sentence will fill the gap that Macy's life leaves from Paul and his wider family.
Thanks for watching, you guys. What are your thoughts on this case? Should Cody Ann Jackson's sentence be tougher? Will she be a danger to others after her release?
Yes.
And will Macy's father ever be able to move on? Let me know down in the comment section. And before you go, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. See you next time.
Bro, it's like with this case, it's sad for both parts. Well, it's always, if it's a mom and dad, I'm just saying, like, you killed your only daughter, then you messing his whole life around. Now he can't hold a job, he drinking, he grieving. It's his daughter, like, you killing his only child over him leaving you. Now what? It's like, I don't think she should ever get out. Because if you're able to kill a 2-year-old, somebody that's, there's nothing they can do to defend themselves. So at that point, I don't know, you're just taking advantage of it. I just don't see how someone could kill their own kid. It's just, but it's not a dad gonna be grieving for the rest of it. I don't think he ever can get over this. Well, not like, he could have another kid, but it's like, he got always in his head, one of my kids, my ex killed. Sad, sad, sad. But YouTube, if you made it this far in the channel, go ahead and leave me a like, comment, subscribe. Catch me on the next one.